What is going on? Welcome back to the Carbonite Crew YouTube channel. Make sure to like and subscribe to keep updated with all our nonsensical videos that we upload. I am Tyler.
I am Steven.
Steven, and we're here to talk Mandalorian Chapter 21? Chapter 20?
Season
3.
Checks out that
Episode
it would be 21.
5.
Because it's 8 plus 8 plus 5.
There you go. He's the engineer. I am not. I'm just the one that buys helmets. So, it's the first episode of The Mandalorian we've ever watched together.
Wow,
Right?
that's crazy, yeah.
Right?
It is. Not the last.
Not the last, because someone moved back
I sure did.
to Indiana.
I sure did. I question this decision every minute of my life, especially while he's here. But we did it. We moved back. We're excited. We're excited to be here. I'm pretty pumped that we get to record this thing in real life now. IRL.
Yes.
That's what the kids say, IRL.
I don't think they say that anymore.
Oh, that's my bad.
Yeah,
This is a Star Wars show. You shouldn't expect it to be hip.
No, like we were just discussing before we got on. We are big kids that spend big kid money on things. So
It's so cool though.
it's a great centerpiece though for this episode, for this show.
Perfect timing.
Actually, it's really horrible timing because spoilers for this episode. She just takes this off at the end. At the last two, she's had it on the whole time.
That is actually a really fair point. But that's why it's symbolic. It's actually hers. It's actually hers. So she took it off. We went there. We got it from her. We said, hey, Bo, are you okay if we borrow this for the show tonight? She was like, yeah, of course. Obviously, I'm done with it. So
Yeah, it was on your way back from Virginia.
Yep.
You stopped at Navarro on the way back from
Yeah.
Virginia on to Indiana.
Yeah.
'Cause
It's on the way.
Yeah, we
right
can't-
right off 35.
for anyone listening to the podcast, because I think I uploaded this in podcast form. If you're listening to it, I did.
I got really confused. It's like, we haven't done it yet. What do you mean?
There's a Bo-Katan Grease helmet on the table in between us. So
Hold on.
that's
Bo-Katan Kryze Black Series helmet from Hasbro.
from Hasbro. We're not sponsored, so there's no reason for him to do that whatsoever. But yes, that was. Go buy it. It's on sale.
Well, if you're listening to the podcast, I want you to be able to Google what we have sitting here
Yes.
and get an accurate
yes, that's
depiction. You know, I really want them to. I want the audio listeners. Listen, I'm not audio agnostic, right? Like I believe in them, and I want them to feel welcomed to this show that we do. All three of them.
But you should come to the YouTube channel if you're driving.
You're totally right.
Podcast 100%.
You can like put it up on the.
on Spotify, you can launch a video on Spotify. I don't know how to do that yet.
Oh, that's fancy stuff.
Exactly. Mando episode 5 of season 3. That's what I'm going with.
Season 3, episode 5. That
called-
I know is correct.
Called the Pirate, which we never learned who the pirate is.
I think it's just the guy that they blew up. Spoilers.
Like, it's too late for
I think
that.
it's the Green Davy Jones guy.
No.
They blow him up.
No.
I think that's who they mean.
If you never saw someone die on screen, they did not die. Seaweed Man did not die. He's alive and he is well.
Seaweed Man.
I didn't like him. In like an animated series, that would have been cool. But in live action, he looked good. Like prosthetics, whatever they used, he looked good. But I didn't like it. It was weird.
It was a little weird.
Like, it reminded me, if anyone's ever seen Spaceballs, he reminded me of Pizza the Hut. But like a vegetarian version of Pizza the Hut.
A vegetarian version. That's because he's made of seaweed, obviously. In
Veggies.
case they didn't get it. For the audio listeners.
Has nothing to do with. Here we are.
And here we are.
Here we are.
Okay, so you didn't really like him. I was pretty much just kind of like, he's there. I don't mind it. I didn't have any problems with it.
Oh, I do want to point out, you and I talked about this before we got on air. I've always questioned whether or not like how Mandalorians actually see anything. I can see a lot out of this helmet.
Yep. But not 100%.
I would never take this into battle.
Do you
Don't get me wrong.
do you think they would be more efficient warriors if they didn't wear a helmet that blocked like 60% of their view? You would think that they'd probably be better shots.
This blocks way more than 60%.
Is that why clone troopers can't hit anything?
Probably. Did you see how
They can't
small their
see
visors
anything?
were in the very beginning?
Exactly. That
Yes.
makes so much sense. You would think they would just fix that.
Yes. Speaking of, did you know that Tim Morrison voiced the clones in the last episode. Like
not
when
know
they
that.
were, when Ahmad Best, Kelleran Beck was,
Nice.
saving
sweet.
Grogu. Saving Grogu.
I'm glad he's still doing this thing.
Dude,
He's the bomb.
if you ever
He's
want to come
awesome.
on the show, Ahmad Best.
He'd be such a great
He'd
guest.
be such a good guest. He named his Jedi character after Kylo Ren, or inspiration. My favorite character is Kylo Ren. We're not here to get in a debate on the whole sequel trilogy. That is for another time.
Here we go.
It's Adam Driver is my favorite Star Wars character.
Adam Driver is. That's.
But no,
sure, whatever.
The last episode was awesome.
Yep.
It was
It was
solid.
good. It was really
It's
good.
kind of like a mid-season series, mid-season finale almost.
Yeah.
Kind of.
You can tell they kind of made this episode one of the. Like, I feel like we haven't had a ton of like really big moments yet. Like seeing the Mythosaur, that was pretty big. That was like a, whoa! I did not, because I didn't expect.
Might
that
be
to
one of my
happen.
favorite moments of the whole
It was
series.
really cool. It was really cool. But this episode really felt like, hey, we're gonna throw you some stuff to like keep you interested, and we're gonna get this thing ramped up, and it feels like it. It really does.
And we got like a post-credit scene that wasn't a post-credit scene. That was weird.
Yep.
But the show, it's called The Mandalorian. You could probably just take the off of it, just Mandalorian now.
Oh, because there's many.
There's just a lot of them.
Everybody is getting as much screen time as Mando.
Yeah, like the one episode was pretty much a Bo-Katan episode, the last one.
Yep.
Then you had, Elia Kane and Dr. Pershing, which she's a bad guy. We saw it in this episode. Like they've established her as a bad guy. I felt like we kind of left it in a weird gray area 2 episodes ago. Where like she's bad, but she's good. Maybe she's just doing it for his good so he doesn't do his research. Who knows? But this one, there's that whole scene where we see Tim Meadows, which was awesome. And we see Wolf go to Tim Meadows. She comes in and they're talking about the Empire and the Imperial remnants and what's his face, Moff Gideon. Clearly by her facial expressions and body language, she's not done with whatever mission that was.
Right.
So, which is odd. Theory time.
Let's do it.
She kind of came off, I don't know if it was season 2, season 1, where we kind of see her. And she was just kind of like an officer.
Right.
She was
she was there.
She was an Imperial officer. I think like that's just what it was.
Yeah.
And I almost wonder if like she knows more or she was more involved than we know. Like I almost wonder if like, not that she was a spy, but maybe the Avengers did a good job with like Nick Fury, how like people knew certain information, but you never know who knew what or who you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like did she know a lot more? Was she more important? But they kind of just put her in that spot so no one would know.
Yeah. That's definitely the vibe you get, where it's like she clearly is not just like some random Imperial that was on a ship. Like,
No.
like she is actively working for, I assume, Moff Gideon at this point, slash Thrawn, maybe. But yeah, she's not just like a person. Like she knows stuff and she is involved and she's doing things. So like, I think we'll get an idea too of what her real mission and goal is here soon, I would imagine.
Oh gosh, yeah, it's coming. Stuff's gonna start to unfold real quick. There's only 3 episodes left.
Yep.
Stuff's gonna start to unfold really quickly. So so before Wolf even goes to find Mando to tell him like, yo, Grief Karga's in danger, we get a nice little appearance, literally out of nowhere.
Little, he says.
We see Lasat, and I was just kind of stuck in like, whoa, this thing is in live action. We've seen it in the video games, animation, all of that, but we've not seen one in live action. So that's all I was stuck on. Like, wow, there's a live action Lasat. I don't know how long it took you to realize that this might be someone else.
As soon as the voice happened, I was like, oh my gosh, that's Zeb.
It's Zeb Oriolis. Zeb was here.
On screen, in live action. We were talking about it. This is the first non-Chopper Rebels character that we've seen in real life.
Yeah, was spoken with dialogue.
Live action.
Ooh, it's happening.
It really is.
Like the Mando, Ahsoka, Rebels team up things, like that's happening.
Yep.
Because we see Zeb, and maybe we just get into this theory now. Because
let's do it.
Let's just get into this theory now. So we and I have talked about the big bad of this whole series, the whole Mandalorian, probably this whole, whatever universe thing they're trying to build right now, Disney Plus,
I agree.
is Thrawn. They name dropped him when Ahsoka first showed up in season 2. Only name drop we've gotten. Yep. We know it's like Sabine and all the pretty much Rebels crew is going to be in the Ahsoka show.
Yep.
We now have Zeb. If Thrawn is the big bad guy, if Gideon is working for Thrawn, which is kind of what I'm assuming, that leads to Ezra, that to Thrawn. You know, Sabine, like it's all interconnected. We have Mando and Ahsoka already met.
Yep.
So they know of each other. And
all the tie-ins are there.
And it's something I'm kind of just thinking about right now is like, we're going to get this team up with like Sabine, Ahsoka, Mando, all the Mandalorians. Like, is Luke in that too?
Oh, you never know. He
Right?
could.
He very
totally
well could be.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want him to. If we could see Ahsoka and Luke fight side by side.
That would be pretty cool.
I don't know if there was a specific like score they used, like when Anakin and Ahsoka, or Anakin and Ahsoka fought together, but that needs to be used 100%.
You're totally right. Yeah, that would be pretty cool to see them together again, and like in that kind of a moment, it would feel so. It'd be emotional.
I want a scene. This happens in the Ahsoka show. I want a scene where it cuts to Luke. We're learning more about Luke. Grogu's gone from Luke. Maybe he's reflecting, like, did I do something wrong? Was there something?
Yeah.
He doesn't know. Maybe he knows there's a battle coming, but it's not his place. It's not what he's meant to do. Or that's what he feels like he's not meant to do.
Yeah.
And maybe we hear like a little bit of Alec Guinness, maybe a little bit of Ewan McGregor, like forced like voice of like, Luke, you know what must be done. You know, like, you're like,
yeah.
Oh, so many possibilities right now.
There's just so much stuff they can do, and so many different like little tie-ins and directions they're going to take it. It's fun trying to guess. And so we've been theorizing today, as one does after you watch an episode of The Mandalorian. The end, we'll call it the post-credit scene, even though it wasn't really a post-credit scene, but it was what's the Republic fighter's name?
The New Republic. Oh,
the New Republic name. Do you know it?
Wolf.
Wolf. Okay.
It's Wolf.
Okay, so Wolf is kind of
Wolf is Dave Filoni. I don't know what this guy
okay.
is. Wolf is Dave Filoni. I'm stupid. I can't remember his name now.
I can't either.
But yeah, it's not Wolf. It's the other guy. It's
the
main guy we've been seeing.
He pulls up in his X-Wing, and you see him kind of slow down in space, and then in the forefront, you see this really like dark, faded, like an Imperial cruiser. I forget what the ship
I forget what they're
is,
called too,
but it's the kind of
Darth Vader ship.
Darth Vader
right?
ship, yeah.
The Emperor ship, whatever you want.
And it's all like broken up and blasted open.
It's just eerie.
It's super eerie, and so he pulls up to it and goes and sends his little probe in there to scan it. Yada yada yada. It ends up being the ship that was transporting Moff Gideon, and Moff Gideon's body is not in the ship, and so they're realizing like, oh no, somebody came, blew the ship up, took Gideon out of there, and has rescued him from the New Republic. And then at the very end, they see a little piece of metal in like one of the kind of control panels or whatever, and it's a piece of Beskar. And so we know that it's most likely something a Mandalorian did, whether it's a team of Mandalorians, which actually makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
They kind of like drop in, bust the place up, and then take Gideon out. Yep. With their little jetpacks and stuff.
Dude.
It makes
Which
a
works
lot
in
of sense.
space, 100%. Jetpacks.
It does. It would.
Would it?
I think so.
No, the fire wouldn't. There's no oxygen.
Well, you don't need the fire. The fire is just a
you just
result
need
of it. Yeah. I think the oxygen is like in the thing. I don't actually know.
I have no idea how jetpack works.
I-
You should leave a comment on the YouTube video if you know how a jetpack works.
If you are a rocket scientist,
Or if you're not.
why are you wasting your time watching us?
I know the world I live in. There are many people that aren't rocket scientists that know how a jetpack works because they played with one or they made one.
Our theory we were talking about is like, okay, so who is it that comes and gets Moff Gideon out of this ship? And we also in this episode we see Bo-Katan talking with the Armorer, and they mention that there are these other Mandalorians out in the world, and the Armorer wants to bring them all together and kind of take back Mandalore, which is kind of what seemed like was going to be the theme of this season anyway. So we assume that it is these other Mandalorians out in the universe.
Yep.
Some of them did this Moff Gideon capture, but are they working with the Imperials, or are they working in some sort of separate type of mission? One of our theories we talked about was, are these Mandalorians working with or for Sabine Wren? And did they come to get Moff Gideon so that he could tell her where Thrawn is.
Because Thrawn has Ezra Bridger.
Or at least they're together, right? Like they're connected.
They're together.
I think at this point we're assuming that Thrawn is like back and doing things and active. And we assume that Ezra came with him, and maybe he has Ezra captured or something in that world, right? Like
that's the thing is, I mean, we're looking at the end of Rebels, which was roughly a year or two, probably. Really, it was like less than 4 years before Episode 4.
Yeah. It was like 4-ish years, 5 years, something like that.
That Thrawn and Ezra disappeared.
Yep.
Like it's wild to think that even after 20 years at this point, they're still like they're together. Like that's wild to me. Which I guess you would assume Ezra would just come find you if he wasn't with him, but like that's friendship. That's dedication. If Sabine and Ezra don't end up together,
oh man,
after all this, like she is looking for him.
Yeah,
you know, Ahsoka's looking for him. I think that theory makes sense, and
I think it makes a lot of sense. I think,
and I think we have 3 more episodes of Mandalorian this season for season 3, and kind of the way I was thinking about it was I think next episode I think Bo finds this group of Mandalorians. I think the episode after that. They take her, maybe they capture Bo and they take her to Sabine. We get that Sabine reveal. And maybe that was the big reason at Star Wars Celebration last year in Anaheim that we got that Sabine reveal, an actress that was revealed, because we are going to see her now.
That makes sense, right. It feels like that's going to be the tie-in, like that's going to lead us to the Ahsoka show. And it's going to kind of start bringing all of these things together. And I feel like this episode started to tie it together as well. Where it's felt like there's this Imperial storyline with the cloning stuff, and then there's Mando's storyline in Mandalore. And now we see it coming together.
Well, you see that X-Wing pilot, he says throughout the whole episode, like, something doesn't smell right. And like, even Mando's like, well, you think the pirate stuff is connected? And he's like, I don't know, but it's just something doesn't seem right. What probably is connected.
Yeah.
Like, it's
somehow, some way. We don't know yet, but it is. It's all doing something. Something doesn't smell right. And
I think that even harkens back to the whole like Boba Fett show. You know, as much as you did or didn't like it. It wasn't a Boba Fett show. It's part of the Mandalorian verse or whatever you want to call it. And it was its own side thing. They could have tied it in a little better. Yeah. Sure, I agree. But like you're gonna see all this stuff tied in. I'm sure he'll be with them fighting. Maybe. I don't know. Unless they bring him back to the more like badass guy he is. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, I'm excited to see what we got. I think this episode was just a good, solid episode. I thought it did a good job of setting everything up. Elia Kane, though, man, she's something about her is not.
I'm really. Her character has been fun to watch.
Even like
the way she's playing it, I really enjoy.
Yeah,
where it's just like very smug, and like it's not subtle. And I kind of love it.
Yeah.
How it's like very clear that she's like overdoing the Republic love kind of thing. Like
when she gets called out in this episode where she's like, maybe they just need new perspective. And he's like, yeah, your perspective wasn't changed. Like you were a prisoner. We basically forced you to change.
Yeah.
And like he knew.
Yeah. She's like, I wasn't captured. I was liberated. But you can like see on her face and in her words that like that's not what she thinks. She's just feeding them the words back, and she's not trying to hide it. It's that like really imperial like cockiness that is just like bleeding through.
And it's really cool now that I'm like we're talking about that scene in particular. Like we have Tim Meadows in that scene, and he straight up tells the X-Wing pilot like, this isn't a rebellion. Like this is an organized system now. So it's it's an organized government.
Yeah.
Guess what happened last time we had an organized government in the Republic? It got overthrown from underneath. Guess what's about to happen with the First Order? They're about to overthrow them.
Yeah.
It's mirroring itself already.
Yeah.
From the first go around that they tried. So it'd be interesting.
It really will be. Have you enjoyed this season so far?
It's been a slow burn, a slow build, but like it's nice.
Yeah.
Because I've not left any episode like, and maybe I know people like this, but like I haven't left it where I'm like, I need the next one right now. But I like that because there's just a lot of shows on TV right now. I don't need to feel like that for every show I'm watching. So I'm like, cool, Mandalorian's on. Like, I can kind of like walk into this.
It's been really good. I kind of miss though, like I want to just see some Mando stuff. I just want to see
Like
him.
Din Djarin.
Just want to see
Mandalorian.
Din Djarin do Din Djarin things.
I think next season, I bet we get
I
there.
think that you're probably right. Like
I think-
season 4 will probably be like him and Grogu off doing their own thing again. Would be my guess.
But like, what do you do?
I don't know.
That's the thing.
Who knows?
Side quests.
I guess, yeah.
Like he got a ship, he got armor, he got a kid, he got a dark.
He got a kid. He's pretty much like living the American dream. They got a new home this episode.
They did get. They got a new home.
He's got a great ship.
Great ship.
Got a kid.
Yeah. Let us know what you guys thought about this if you're watching on YouTube.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like, subscribe,
Mm-hmm.
send it to your friends. Check out our unboxing video for this awesome helmet from Hasbro if you haven't already done so. Mando, 3 episodes left. We got to catch up on the Bad Batch. That has to happen.
Yeah,
We're going to catch up on the Bad
We'll
Batch.
probably do that.
We're going to do that. So thank you guys for watching. And until next time,
May the Force be with you.
see you guys.